through, like, let's go. You just showcased your good stuff. Look at mine. I got it. And I saw a quote earlier. It was like, if your path causes you to go through hell, act like you own the place.
I like that.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anyways, yeah. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that, like, what you guys are just talking about is also true in the opposite. If Eric, you were following some Joe Schmo who never really did comedy before, you wouldn't have to do as good, and you would still look good. Or
right. Yeah.
But and not
But
to
I
say
would,
that
but I
you
would still.
yeah, not to say that
But
you would.
I would still want to do good though. Like I'd want to go, oh, this guy sucks. Now I'm gonna go up there and blow him out of the water. Like that would be the reverse of that. Of like, this isn't. He was terrible. Don't leave yet because I'm awesome.
Right.
You know. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you
Like,
got to know when you up your game the other way to pull up the slack.
Yeah.
That's not always easy. Like, so I'm thinking about being like when I was in active addiction, something that I saw myself doing, at least looking back at it, is the worse I got, like the heavier drugs I started using and the more frequently that I started using drugs, the worse and like more fucked up people I started like being associating with on a regular basis. And that idea of like you are the five people you spend the most time with. Like, even though I think I have some good qualities about me, even when I'm like super fucked up with drugs, I still have this like, well, I've got this and this and this that is good about me, and I will let that stuff out. But I start to come down to their level, and that's just an unfortunate thing that happens. And so mom and dad used to say that kind of stuff all the time. You are who you hang out with. And it used to make me really mad, right? Like, you're hanging out with so-and-so and so-and-so. And like, then you end up doing what so-and-so and so-and-so is doing. And I'm like, I don't see anything wrong with it because like I'm a teenager, rebellious, and I just want to have fun without thinking about the consequences of my actions. And I mean, that some of that just changed automatically with maturity, but still, like,
Yeah, but
I used to get the well, if so and so jumped off a bridge, would you do it? Like that's what my mom would say to me, and I'd be like, well, probably not, but it'd be funny to watch him jump off a bridge.
Like, I was the one to be like, well, it depends on the bridge.
Well,
because Will and Tabor and I, Black's Bridge in New Plymouth, straight up, like, I remember having my Geo Metro parked on the side of the street and like backed up to the bridge, and we would go from the street running, jump on top of my Geo and jump off of that bridge into the river.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was stupid, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, so like, kind of to your point is like, I'm thinking the whole like bringing the bottom up, and not just in who you hang out with, but like one of the things when I was doing the rational identity stuff was I got apples to apples because they have all those freaking description cards on them, right? And I would separate them into attributes that I want. And I bought like probably 6 games, and extension packs just to get those silly cards. And like, I'm thinking about making cards. I've been thinking about a while making my own cards, but either way, regardless. And I would look at those attributes that I don't want to be and try to like root some of those behaviors out of me that make me, whatever. You have those aspirational, you need to aspire to be motivated to achieve something. If you want to become that thing, you need to aspire to that. So that helps. But you also want to be like, nah, I suppress any possibilities of like, I don't want this type of character. And the two just launch you, and then you're bringing the bottom up, and then your worst behaviors and your worst, like, scenarios are still not as bad as they used to be. And I think that's what it's about, is thinking with direction, is like making that resolve and that progress and that accomplishment and feeling the satisfaction. Like, one of my best when growing up mowing lawns on the boulevard in New Plymouth, New Plymouth. Shout out to New Plymouth. It's in the shape of a horseshoe. And anyways, I went around that boulevard and mowed lawns. And I would just sit there after I get done that. And when I did construction, but when you get it done, you just sit there and look at like how amazing, like I did such a good job on this lawn, and or the construction. This house is going to be here for 100+ years, maybe. Like when I framed a house, and being a foreman and doing all that hard work, and so that's like our life mission. Whether it's a midlife or a late life or whatever, it's like there's all these accomplishments that add up, and that's the direction. Is like it's just little bits at a time add up to make the rope of your life. I don't know, there's a lot of analogies, not just rope, but I don't even know how useful rope is, but like some kind of weave, something beautiful.
Yeah. The dream catcher, man.
Heck yeah.
So we talked the other day too about something that we were going to bring up. Positive motivation.
Yeah, positive motivation. So
time out.
Yeah.
When you brought it up, was it in the context of like parenting, or
it
just
wasn't,
in general?
Well, I think when I brought it up with you the other day, it was with parenting because it was happening case in point while I was talking to you, and it was working really smooth.
Okay. So, okay, parents out there, you listen to this stuff because my brother is about to drop some truth bombs on you. Okay. That's it. Go ahead.
It's pretty cool. So I got a YouTube channel. It's the Destiny Filters YouTube channel. And one of the videos there is about, I actually forget the title at the moment. That's silly, but it's about, I called it reason reconstruction. Actually, I borrowed from the reconstruction concept. And you basically take the things that you need to do on your to-do list, and you write down reasons why you do those things. And sometimes if it's like, there's crap, I got a freaking crap list, a long list of stuff that I have to do for the apartments, or maybe I'm going to get fired, or maybe that someone will go to corporate and make me look bad if I don't do this thing. So there's some stuff that you do for fear motivation, and there's some stuff that you do out of like the kindness of your heart, or the, because this thing matters to me, whatever it is. When you're trying to do high performance things and you're overwhelmed with how much you have to do, using the best motivation possible is going to help you to maximize your emotion. Because like, for instance, when you get angry, I heard that anger cuts out like 50% of your physical strength. So that's why all those like karate guys are all zen. They're like, I'm not going to get angry because I'm going to kick your ass, but I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm going to enjoy it. They don't get angry, but that's another thing. They try to taunt the other ones so that people get angry and they're weaker. So it's a battle of the brain as much as it is anything else.
Right.
So motivation, the whole like, why are you doing this thing? And that was the thing that I did, like, because I don't want to get fired, because I don't want to get kicked out of school, because I don't want to get an F. Those can create fight or flight and too much cortisol, and you shut down because you're fight, flight, or freeze. You end up freezing up, and you're like, ugh, and you're like procrastinating. You're feeling guilt. Maybe I didn't do it today again, and it just freezes you up. It's not a good energy flow. Mm-hmm. So you reconstruct those reasons until you go, this is a real reason why I would like to be doing this. Maybe there are these other reasons that, they come up, but I don't want them to be the real motive.
Right.
So after I came up with that, I was Googling negative motivation. I didn't know what I was going to find. I didn't know it was actually a term that's like actually a specific kind of term. I thought it was just negative generally as motivation. But there's actually, when I Googled it, I found that the definition on a couple of different articles I read, I can't cite them because I have no clue what they are anymore, but I picked some stuff up. The one was about punishment specifically, and about how negative motivation is the fear that something bad's going to happen to you if you're doing that thing or not doing it, or whatever it is, the consequence is going to be negative. Then, and a lot of corporate situations, or everyone's like, I don't want to get fired. Like, that's a constant. But the problem is when you're focused on that fear. The other article I read was talking about positive motivation, where you expand the possibilities. Like, what are some of the possible good things if I do this? And so that's like the concept generally. Like, but when it applies to kids, this is how you use it. And I mean, and then you'll be able to relate it to yourself or other people. So you always are trying to enable a child. You want them to behave, but you don't want to have to be an ass to get them to do stuff.
Right.
And it's pretty common that you have to turn into a monster or feel like a monster, or they scream like you're a monster or something. Like, not that you actually, I'm not talking about abuse. I'm just talking about kids not regulating their emotions. And then it gets crazy. Like, and you're like, I hate this every time. Bedtime, for example, let's say bedtime or anything really, if a kid is stubborn. So what you do is you say, like bedtime thing is one of my strongest ones that I use with. I just happen to grab their pillows and blankets, and I'd go, hey, do you want which thing do you want first? And their stuffed animals and their books, because I just took them back because I knew this was going to be a crazy night, and I don't want to have to feel like a jerk and take that stuff away. I just start like that, and not mad at all, and I just leverage, like, okay, do you want let's say they want their book first. So, okay, in order to get your book, you're gonna have to be quiet, and I just buy my time, and I give them the book, and then I give them the pillow. What do you want next? And I'm a hero now, and they earned it.
Yeah.
So, and they shut up. And if I'm wondering hey, am I gonna have to renege a little? I go, hey, do you want to keep that stuff? And it's always yes. It's always in your favor.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep that stuff? And they go, oh, yeah. Then be quiet. You have to be quiet if you want to keep that. And I do over and over and over. No more anger. And no more like feeling like I'm crazy. And they are doing exactly what I want.
Yeah.
So that happens in real life. Like, I mean, it's hard because if you're trying to dumb it, I mean, when I tell my wife, and then it's hard to be like, honey, do you, I mean, like using things that are leveraged that way.
Do you want this? Never mind. We'll leave it alone.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of things. It's harder a little bit in interpersonal, like when it's mature relationships, but there are ways to still do it. I just haven't explored it as much because I don't want to, like my wife and I both use it and it's working really well. So I didn't want to, make that sour if she thinks I'm being condescending.
Right. Excuse me. Sorry. I had a situation a couple weeks ago. I went to see my son at his mom's house, and he was in a little bit of a mood. He was throwing a fit. And I think sometimes what he does is he'll try to play one of us against the other. And so, like, even when we split up, we decided that we were going to be a united front versus him. Like, if she says he can't do something, he cannot come and ask me because I'll tell him no too.
Same team, yeah.
So anyway,
what did your mom say?
He was yeah, exactly. So he was throwing a little bit of a fit. And so I went into his room and I said, listen, buddy, you need to make a decision. I came over here to hang out with you today, but you're being a little poop. So I need you to decide who you want to be today. Do you want to be the baby who spends his time crying and daddy goes home? Or do you want to be the big boy who gets himself together and then you and daddy have a fun day playing outside and doing all the things? I said, I'll give you a minute to think about it. And he went and laid in bed. He snuggled up with his pillow, cried for a little bit. And then 5 minutes later, I went back in and I said, okay, what did you decide? He goes, I'm going to change my attitude. I said, good, let's go have some fun. And I just like that's what I've been doing is I'll just give him the option of like, dude, who do you want to be today? Do you want to have a good day or do you want to have a bad day? You have the power to decide what kind of a day you're going to have. Because I'm just going to give whatever energy you give me back to you. And usually it works out in my favor most of the time.
Yeah, I think that's so. I think that's really awesome because it teaches kids mature